Hi, welcome to the channel Coder's Arc, where we unravel the world of coding and architecture together. And today, I'm going to be introducing Amazon BedRock. In my previous videos, I have covered Amazon SageMaker in great detail, and I have shown you how to create and deploy models using Amazon SageMaker. I have also covered important concepts like retrieval augmented generation. In this video, I will be covering the Amazon BedRock use cases. As you guys might know, that Amazon BedRock is a serverless framework where you can make API calls into different foundation models provided by leading AI firms. They all have different payloads, so it's important to go through the AWS documentation on BedRock to figure out how these models are invoked. Another important thing about Amazon BedRock is the ease of infrastructure setup. So for SageMaker, you had to configure and provision the instances separately, and that could be some load on the DevOps team. But for serverless framework like Amazon BedRock, you don't have to worry about deploying the model. But the flexibility that you get with Amazon SageMaker, Amazon BedRock is not there just yet. Because with SageMaker, if you have very skilled data scientists and if you have a field like life sciences or healthcare where there are some strict requirements around fine-tuning the models, Amazon BedRock is frankly not there just yet. But I have confidence that they will be there in a few years, or actually less than that. Another important thing is that you look at the needs of your organization. So for example, if you have an organization that is just introducing the AI models into their applications and are covering generic use cases like chatbots, text summarization, image generation, those kind of Gen AI use cases, I would prefer that you ask your organization to explore BedRock and see how easy it is to use. So I will also cover at the end of this video important concepts like agents, knowledge base, and orchestrator. I will not be going into the great depth because I will cover them in a separate video. But hopefully by the end of this video, you will be having a good understanding of what Amazon BedRock is, how you can integrate it within your application, and how easy it is. And then knowing that, you can compare it against SageMaker and make the best choice for your organization. So with that said, let's get started. So right now I'm on the AWS console from where I can access the Amazon BedRock service. Amazon BedRock is a fully managed service that offers a choice of high-performing foundation models from the leading AI companies like AI-21 Labs, Anthropic, Cohere, Meta, Stability AI, and Amazon via a single API, along with a broad set of capabilities you need to build the Gen AI capabilities with security, privacy, and responsibility in mind. It also ensures easier integration with their applications. And let's explore Amazon BedRock. So I'm going to click on the hamburger icon, and you can see all the different capabilities in the side taskbar. So you can see the overview where you can find all the foundation models that I was talking about. The Jurassic 2 series by AI-21 Labs, Titan series by Amazon, Claude by Anthropic, Command by Cohere, Llama 2 series by Meta, and the Stable Diffusion by Stability AI. As you can see, it also provides some playgrounds like Chat Playground, Text Playground, Image Playground. Let me explore the Chat Playground first. So let me select the model. I will choose the Amazon's Titan Text G1. Right now, I will use the on-demand throughput, but as an enterprise organization, you can purchase throughput so you can get more reliable response. And let's ask a simple question. Hello, how are you? And the bot is thinking, I'm doing well, thank you for asking, how can I assist you today? This is nothing special, but on the right side, something noteworthy is that there are things like the temperature and top P, which are the randomness and diversity configurations. Amazon BedRock documentation will give you a clear definition of how to modulate these settings, and you can also play around with the response length and stop sequences. So let me go back to the text playground. So let's select a different model this time. Let me select the Titan Text G1 Express V1, and I will choose the on-demand throughput, and let's click apply. And let me ask it a question. can you kindly summarize document following text for me? Let me provide it the text. And let's hit run. And the chatbot provides a summary of the following text. So again, you can play with the configurations for temperature, topi, length, stop sequences. So now you might be wondering, how do I integrate this within my application? So let's cover that next. So first things first is you have to identify what is the use case for your particular application which you're trying to use Amazon BedRock for. So as you can see on the left side under the getting started, if you click the examples, you will see various examples that are provided as templates by Amazon BedRock, which gives you the API request payload. So this is very, very helpful. This is how I integrate with my applications. This gives you a field called as model ID, which indicates the name of the model. Then it indicates the content type, which is the application JSON, accept application JSON, and the most important parameter is the body parameter, which takes the input text and provides a prompt that we need to feed to the LLM, and also the configurations. If you remember the configurations we saw in the UI. So let's say our use case is if you want to create action items from a meeting transcript. As you can see over here, there was a prompt and it explains who are the participants in a meeting. And then you ask the chatbot from the meeting transcript above, create a list of action items for each person. And when the chatbot responds, or when the Titan Text G1 model responds, it gives the different participants action items, and it gives in a very concise manner. So, I find this feature very, very useful. So let's explore some of the other use cases. So there is a chain of thought use case, the code generation use case, which some developers might find very useful, especially when writing blogs. Then there is use case for debugging the code, earnings call summarization, few shot learning, which I use quite often. Then so as you can see, there are many use cases. You might find the use case that suits best for your application. So click on that particular use case. For example, I click on the use case for transcript summarization, and here I can find the API request configuration. So now if you're a developer who's really familiar with the application code, where you know how to send the requests through API gateway, you can simply plug this request, install Boto3 on your Python library or the Python code that you're writing, install the Boto3 client, and make a call to Amazon BedRock, just like you would make a call to any other AWS service. So it's very, very easy. I'll share an example shortly. And before I share a code example, I want to cover a very important concept. It's slightly advanced concept, but I want to cover that in a future video, but I'll just give a preview of it right now. And that's the orchestration. So if you guys are familiar with some of the videos I've done in the past for retrieval augmented generation and making a call to SageMaker for running the training and testing jobs, so you can orchestrate those things using Amazon BedRock as well. So if you remember the task of converting all your documents, all your corpus documents into vectors, so you can easily search, do a semantic search against those documents. So that use case can be orchestrated by using the easy to use knowledge base capability of Amazon BedRock. I think I've already created a knowledge base. So let's click on this knowledge base. And as you can see, it points to the Wikipedia bucket that I created inside my S3 folder. And so this is where all the tutorials that I've done so far, it contains the PowerPoints of those. So essentially you can create a vector knowledge base out of those. And then another powerful concept is the agents concept, which you can use to orchestrate the various actions within your application. I will cover all of this, but let's briefly preview what an agent is. So as you can see, you can provide the agent details like name, IAM permissions, session timeout, any tags that are optional. You can select the AI model that you want to choose from one of these foundation models. Then you can also add knowledge base, which would be very useful for things like retrieval augmented generation. And then you finally create this agent and integrate within your application. So you can orchestrate things like Lambda functions that are doing some asynchronous jobs, API gateway invocations, step functions, things like that. So I will cover all of this in a future video, but let's dive right into the code first. So to run the code, I'm going to go in Amazon SageMaker, and I need to have my studio configured. So you need to have a default user profile before you can start running this. But I already have created a user profile, and I already have created a notebook in Studio. So let's go right into it. So as you can see, I'm in the Amazon SageMaker Studio Classic. I think it offers 5 different types of workspaces, but I chose the Amazon SageMaker Studio Classic. And here you can create a notebook. I chose the Data Science 3.0 kernel. I think this is very, very important. Otherwise, you're going to run into issues. If you follow the Amazon documentation on the BedRock, they also specify that you need to go into the Data Science 3.0 notebook kernel. Otherwise, you will end up wasting time. And let's get right into it. So first thing you need to do is just purely install Boto3, which is used to access any of the AWS services. And then this is a very simple code, and it's a Python code where I have a method which is called generate text, which takes the model ID and the body as inputs. And essentially, if you look at it, what this function is doing is it's making a call using the Boto3 BedRock client to get the response back from the AI model. So essentially, you just use the invoke underscore model command. It's as simple as that. So this is how simple integrating BedRock within your application is, where you get the Boto3 client and make an invoke underscore model class. We specify the body, model ID, and a couple of parameters. So most important thing here is the body and the model ID. So I will explain this. You saw in the previous example when I was on the AWS console that each model will have its own unique body type. So let's look. So right now I'm trying to call 2 different models. So essentially I have a meeting transcript, and I want the chatbot, or I want the AI model to respond back. So I want the bot to look at the meeting transcript above and create a list of action items for each person. So this could be anything. You can specify any input, but this is the command that you want to put. So all of this goes into the prompt. As you all know from my previous videos, prompts are very, very important, and how you engineer a prompt is also very important. I'm not going to cover that in a lot of detail over here, but essentially the other important thing is you construct the body payload. So right now I'm using the Amazon's Titan Text Express V1 model. So it has a very specific definition of what kind of body it expects. So there is a text generation config, max token count, stop sequences, temperature, and top P, and then also a field for the input text, which is the prompt. And essentially you invoke that method generate underscore text, and you specify all the parameters like model ID and body. And then you print out whatever response you get. And I want to do the same thing. I want to take the exact same prompt that I had previously. And if you remember, I had to look into the examples to see what are some of the special keywords I need to put. So I just put an INST keyword because that's what the Meta Llama 2 70 billion character parameters chat V1 model asked me to do. So it's essentially the same meeting transcript, but just a slightly different ending to the question I'm about to ask. And also the body is different. So you see, if you compare the 2 bodies, here for the Titan Express V1 model, you are specifying input text as a prompt, but here you specify prompt as a prompt. So that's why it's very important to look at the Amazon's BedRock Foundation Models document and find out what is the specific JSON body structure needed for a particular model. Similarly, there are some differences in how the temperature and top P and max gen parameters are or the token count parameters are passed. So I pretty much use the similar values, and then I make the call to the same method. So let's see what happens. I've already run this previously, so let me clear the output, and let's see what happens when I run both of these models and see, we can compare the results. So first it's calling the Amazon BedRock model Titan Express v1, and this is the response we got. So you can see this is the response action items for Miguel, Brandt, and Namita. And let's wait for the Llama 2 model as well. Oh, I'm sorry. It has essentially given response to both of them. So this one is just the way. So yeah, so this is the response for Titan Express v1 model, and then this is the response for the Llama 2 model. So you can, I mean, obviously this is, in the JSON format, so you can take it to any editor and compare the results of two, and then it's more of a subjective pick at this point. Obviously, when you're doing more specific tasks and have specific requirements, your data scientists will enable you to pick the better model by comparing the results against the expected results. But essentially, from a high level, you understand how you make a call to the BedRock models to get the response back. So I think that's all I want to cover in this video. In a future video, I will cover the knowledge base and agents in more detail so you can understand some advanced BedRock concepts. But if you found the value in this content useful, please hit the subscribe and the like button, and also let me know in the comment section what other videos you would like to see next. Goodbye for now.